What's up, Desktopers? In this video, we discuss the 2019 Japan Pro results, and we're going to have a video of the top 3 up close in HD. Also, a bodybuilding legend passes at the age of 71. Josh Lenartowicz in for surgery again, and also Shawn Rhoden and Olimp, his sponsor, split. But Shawn Rhoden has a new love interest, and we go into that and who exactly it is. Anyway, guys, all of that plus more in this video coming up. And if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up on this one in particular. It really helps me out. Also, subscribe, hit that notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. Anyway, guys, on with the video. What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today we've got a whole bunch to go over, and we're going to kick it off with Josh Lenartowicz to start with. He has gone in for surgery again, but he is out, and it has been successful as far as we know right now. And he put up this video, which we're going to insert now, explaining how it all went.
Just want to let you guys know that it all went really well as far as I'm told. So that's a huge weight lifted off my shoulder, and I'm really thankful for all the support of my friends and family, and the staff here, Michael, my surgeon, and Greg, the anaesthetist, and the nurses. So really thankful and appreciative that things went well. Hope everyone's great, and I look forward to getting back to myself again.
So there it is, straight from Josh Lenartowicz's mouth, and I'm glad Josh, came out of surgery all good. There's no big complications or anything like that. All went well. So I hope that heals up correctly, because it didn't last time, and that was the reason he had to go back in for surgery. And for those who don't know, he did have that tumor basically that was growing inside his head, which obviously is very serious and had to be taken care of. So best wishes to Josh, and I hope he is able to get on that 2020 Arnold Classic stage. But if not, I'm sure we'll see him later next year. All going well for Josh. So fingers crossed. Also pray for him, and hope that he gets up there in 2020 once again. Next story, on a bit of a somber note actually, bodybuilding legend Yusuf, I think his name's Yusuf, Kosc. He actually passed away at age 71. He was friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was actually his training partner. I'm not sure exactly for what time period, but they were friends, I think, until this day. He was a German bodybuilder. He competed in the Mr. Olympia. He competed in several other pro shows, and he actually got 3rd place in the 1984 Mr. Olympia, and he only placed behind Lee Haney in 1st and Muhammad Makaway in 2nd. So a very accomplished, very good bodybuilder, and a guy that you don't hear too much about, but he was obviously an accomplished bodybuilder. And I'd seen this guy around a lot, and not really knowing exactly what his name was. I'd seen it written down, but you never really say it out loud. But he was, a guy that really does go underrated. And there was a number of these guys back in the 80s, back in the 70s, that really you don't hear too much about, that were accomplished bodybuilders that placed top 5 in the Olympia. But you don't hear their name near as much as you hear maybe a Franco Colombo, or guys that have just pipped an Olympia title. So just want to say rest in peace, and shout out to his family and friends, and hope they're dealing with the loss as well as they can, because he was 71 years old, but still probably a little bit too young. Next story, guys, the Japan Pro that was on over the weekend. This one was a controversial one because, everyone would have thought Cedric Miller would have come in and probably won this show, probably 8 times out of 10, but it was that 2 times out of 10 that Cedric comes in, and he comes in just a little bit off. And I don't think Cedric was honestly too bad in comparison to these other guys in the top, 3, to be honest with you. Like, his conditioning was, while not, probably good enough to win a pro show typically, this could have maybe been good enough to win this one. But the hardest guy in the top 3 did win it. Juan Morel takes out the title. And in 3rd place, we had Regan Grimes, who's, is really impressing in terms of his placings in these recent shows. But I've got to tell you guys that I've been blaming the lighting in a lot of these shows recently, and there has been bad lighting in quite a few shows. Here, I'm not too sure, because we're seeing a close-up video in HD that really, even if it is bad lighting, you can generally see. You can see the difference between bad lighting and just guys that are slightly off. And I've got to tell you, these guys did look a little bit off to me. I mean, Juan Morel was the hardest one out of the group, and he probably did bring quite decent conditioning. In this video, it looks decent, you know what I mean? His condition looks decent for a pro, but it doesn't look razor crisp, sharp. It doesn't even look as sharp as Juan was earlier in the year, in my opinion. But he did look, sharp enough, and he probably was the best in that top 3, even though his legs are, a little bit slight, which we mentioned before, but I think maybe they were a little bit more down again, probably because he has been prepping for so long. But Cedric in second place, while he's not, super crisp or super hard, he does have the most impressive physique up there in terms of the shape and the muscle bellies. And really for Cedric, you look at his muscle bellies, you look at his arms, you look at, all those other crazy body parts, and he really does sort of look crazy in some poses, like the most muscular and whatnot, but his legs are a little slight too. So if he had bigger legs, you might say, oh, he's by far the more complete package, and you have him easily beating Juan. But I think Juan was probably just too hard here. And the thing that surprised me, when you look at the scorecard here, you see second place Cedric McMillan, and you look at finals. For some reason, it doesn't have the judging, which is a pre-judging scores there as well. I'm a little confused to why I only judged one round by the look of it. But you have him on 7 points, and then 1 point behind him on 8 points was Regan Grimes. So it shows that basically not everyone had Cedric beating Regan at this show. And for me, Regan, while he might have the most complete upper to lower body and just balance over his whole physique, I think that Regan was considerably off here. I mean, I actually thought Regan was better, it was a week or 2 weeks prior, and he still wasn't great there either. So I'm not sure if it's the last minute prep that's going wrong for Regan, or if it's that maybe he's just not as hard as he actually looks on Instagram. But he just wasn't his best here, although I do love Regan's physique, and he seems like a good dude, and he's young, so he has plenty of time. So he's getting top 3 in these quality pro shows. Imagine what he's going to do in a few years, and when he's competing at the Olympia. Like, that just is super, super exciting for me as a bodybuilding fan, because he's a good, first of all, he's a good dude. He seems like a really nice guy overall. He's got a great shape. He's got a nice aesthetic physique, and he's young. And so when you get that combination, and he's popular, and he can pose, he's got a whole lot going for him. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what Regan does in the future. And then outside of that top 3, we had Cody Montgomery in 4th place and Arn Wynn in 5th. And these 2 guys were probably better conditioned than the whole top 3, to be honest with you. I'm not too sure about Arn, but Cody was, I think definitely harder than these top 3. So that's my takeaway from the Japan Pro. We still had other big names down there, like Max Charles in 7th and whatnot. So it seemed like a really good show. But let's move on to our next story. And this is the one that most people have probably been sort of waiting for. And that's Shawn Rhoden and Olimp, his sponsor, split. And also we talk about Shawn Rhoden's new partner as well. But this was sent to me by Kevin Gretsch of Evolution of Bodybuilding, so thank you, Kevin. So shout out to you. And it went up on their website about the whole split between Shawn Rhoden and Olimp. And basically, they had sources. It hasn't been obviously totally confirmed, but he told me sort of who the sources were. So at least it gives some credibility to it. And Kevin, sort of reported stuff in the past that, has ended up being true. And I have no reason to doubt Kevin here as well. And I actually noticed a few weeks ago, I noticed about a week ago, and it was about 2 weeks prior, so I guess about 3 weeks ago, that Shawn stopped posting content with any sort of mention of Olimp in it. And pretty much before that, he was tagging Olimp in almost every post he put up on Instagram. And then he had a whole ton of posts with nothing to do with Olimp. I noticed nothing on his stories to do with Olimp. So it seemed like something went down there. And then I actually did notice that Olimp had nothing of him on their social media. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know what's happened, but I didn't want to report on something that I just noticed on social. So I thought I'd wait till something came out, and something has come out. So this was sent to me, and basically it does mention that, Shawn should be proven innocent until proven guilty, but we know in this case it's probably not really the case. He's more guilty until proven innocent by most people. And what's interesting as well is basically Olimp came out before the 2019 Mr. Olympia and said, they know about obviously what happens with Shawn Rhoden and what's going on with the whole case. But basically they said, I'm sure it will be sorted out soon and he'll be able to continue his preparation for the Olympia, which obviously didn't happen, where Shawn wasn't able to defend his Olympia title. And basically they said they'll, continue basically to support him. They believed his innocence. So it sucks that they're not able to support him now. At least I don't know if it's been a massive hit on their brand or anything like that. I'm not too sure. I mean, most of the bodybuilding community is behind Shawn Rhoden, but maybe the greater community is not so much behind Shawn Rhoden. So hopefully that's not the case, but it does suck that he has been dropped by Olimp. He's going through all this court case and everything that's going to be happening with him, and I do feel for Shawn. And I mean, I was actually adding up and what potentially he could be losing. This is obviously just me sort of guessing some numbers, but if you look at what he might lose, so if he was to actually go into the Olympia this year and win, that's $400,000 US that he would have won. So close to $500,000. And then many supplement contracts come with, like, a lot of contracts in general, not even just supplement, come with basically bonuses. So they might give you, it used to be sometimes they'd match your competition winnings. That's what Muscle Tech did back in the day. But a lot of times it might be 50%, it might be 25%, I'm not sure. Just say it was only 25% of his winnings that as he got as a bonus. That'd be $100,000 US. So we're looking at $500,000 so far. And we look at overall sponsorship dollars that he might have lost outside of those bonuses, maybe $500,000, because I'm sure he lost not just a supplement contract. I'm sure there's other ones that maybe have gone by the wayside. So maybe in a year he might lose, $500,000, or this might go over a year anyway. And then we look at lawyer fees. I don't know if this is going to be drawn out over. This could be a long case. So just say it's cost him $200,000 in lawyer fees. You look at the total there; it's $1.2 million. That's a lot of money. So if this thing's costing Shawn Rhoden $1.2 million, and not just that, it's future contracts past that. There's going to be companies that are just not going to sponsor Shawn Rhoden, regardless if he's found innocent or not. So I do feel for him, especially obviously if he didn't do it. That's the big proviso. If he didn't do it, I feel for him like crazy, but I can't really 100% say that. But everything that's sort of come out sort of makes you maybe lean that way. But anyway, Shawn Rhoden, it's not all bad for Shawn Rhoden. He has a new love interest, which I mentioned at the start. It seems like it's his new partner now by everything that he's been posting, she's been posting. It's very public. I wasn't going to report this at the start, but I was like, hey, it's news. It's Mr. Olympia. It's a guy who's gone through, a rape case, and he's got a new partner, which is, obviously she believes that he's innocent, because otherwise why would she be with him? And they're together, it seems like. So his name's Lorelee Chapados, and she's actually top 4. She came 4th in the 2019 Bikini Olympia. She's a 5-time pro contest winner. And as you can see, they seem pretty well loved up. And in this photo, this is actually from the funeral of Franco Columbu, because Lorelee Chapados basically said here, or she did say, tonight celebrating in memory of Franco Columbu. And a very nice photo of them together. And then you've got this photo here where Shawn Rhoden, this actually, people haven't talked about this too much about what Shawn Rhoden actually looks like in this photo, because he looks pretty damn sensational. He looks like he does, a couple of weeks out of an Olympia to me. He looks big, his legs look huge, his arms don't look enormous or anything like that, because that's not his strong suit, but his shape looks great. He's got his abs out, and for Shawn Rhoden, when he has his abs out, basically he's within striking distance of any comp, because he does hold a bit of fluid and he really pulls it in hard right at the very end. And you can see him here poolside as well with Lorelee, and he looks huge there and vascular, and I really wish we got to see him on stage at that 2019 Mr. Olympia, because he could have done some serious damage, come in and won this under all the duress of his case that he's going through right now. And I think that would have been a great story. And I think the Olympia sort of missed out on that. I don't think too many people would have crucified the Olympia brand for actually doing that, but maybe the fact that the Olympia actually has, magazines outside of the industry, maybe they thought it would have hurt them outside of the industry as well, with all their magazines and online content, targeted some at women as well. So that might have been a bit of a harsh point for the AMI crew. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. A lot of news packed into this one, and we're going to have another news video tomorrow. We've got a lot of content coming up. And the shout out of the episode goes to Dennis James, a man who's finished as high as 4th in the 2003 Mr. Olympia, a guy that's won 3 pro contests. He's been top 5 in 24 pro contests, I think it is. He's just an absolute legend of bodybuilding. So shout out to him, because we have content coming out with him. We've got an interview, and we're going to be doing videos pretty regularly as well, just short 10-minute or so videos, basically discussing different topics with Dennis, because when I was talking to Dennis, I just knew that he has, I've seen him before. I know he has insight on a lot of great topics. We've got a video. He's probably the second or the most muscular man in the world at one point with Ronnie Coleman. So we've got a video that we did about how to get big. his way to get big and how he did it. So lots of really cool content coming up. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you want all that content and don't want to miss out on it, make sure you subscribe to this video and click that notification bell button. Make sure you do that. And also, if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up and like it. It helps me out a whole heap. And I've really needed that lately with all the health stuff I've been going through. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. So for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.